What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to give a minor Dying Light 2 update, or talk about. I'm not actually the one giving these updates, but I want to talk about a minor Dying Light 2 update. And I also want to talk about the possibility of the game being shown in some capacity, or talked about, or something on the 6-year anniversary of Dying Light. Okay, kind of a 2-for-1 video. The anniversary one was going to be a video all on its own. I was thinking of doing that, and then I saw this tweet that somebody also tagged me in to make me know. And I do want to thank UPREWT. I don't know if you're supposed to say that all together, if that's just how you say it, but I want to thank him really quickly before I jump too far into it. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And also, if you guys want to send me stuff or just interact with me on Twitter, my Twitter account's name is PodcastNow15. You can look me up on Twitter, or the link for that is in the description below. Would love to have you guys, following me. All right, so this was something that was being passed around. This comes specifically from Dying Light's Twitter. This was on February 3rd. They said, "Survivors, look what we've planned for you in February. Think you can handle all of this." And they give us basically a roadmap, actually. There's a lunar event from the 11th through the 17th. There is a new bundle, including 2 new character skins, and then the 6th year anniversary of Dying Light on February 25th, with more info soon. So at least at the time I'm recording this, now I'm recording this on Thursday, there's been no new info, okay? Now, maybe there'll be new info within the next couple weeks, and I assume there will be, okay? Now, this brave soul, Alec, okay, not Alex, Alex said, "Can we at least get an update on Dying Light 2's development?" Which, by the way, normally I would, and I think I would always say this, I would never expect them to answer those kind of questions, and not just Dying Light, literally any game, any developer. When you ask that kind of stuff, most times you're met with nothing. However, for a game under the circumstances of Dying Light 2, I honestly don't feel like it's asking a huge amount to say, "Can you please just freaking give us an update," right? And they actually responded. I hearted it. They said it's actually kind of funny because it's like the person who runs their Twitter. "All I can say right now is that the development is going well. Parkour is as smooth as ever, and the combat versus human enemies finally not annoying," like smiley face. We will be sharing some news about the project this year." And then obviously the person tagged me. All right, so, well, number one, that is good. Like hearing updates should calm people down. Should be, I think there are still some people out there that are like really, really worried, really scared. I mean, my opinion on what this game is honestly, I forget about this game from time to time. I go like a week or two where I forget about its existence, and then I think back, or maybe I'm looking back at old videos, and I'm like, "Oh shoot, Dying Light 2. And that's kind of how I remind myself every 5 to 7 days, to be quite honest with you guys. But this should, this is a good sign, okay? And also, by the way, parkour is as smooth as ever. That's awesome. And the combat versus human enemies is not annoying anymore. So maybe that was something that was giving them a lot of trouble over the past, 15 years that they've been making this game. We'll be sharing some news about the project this year. I mean, they did say that back like on Christmas or right after, or maybe it was on New Year's. I don't remember what the exact date was, but they did, give that tweet that said they would give more update on Dying Light 2 this year. I mean, I would like them to say something like it'll be released this year. We'll, something like, when you say it like that, I get it, and I also don't want to like scare people in my own way. Like, it could just be because they don't want to say too much about the game, right? So they're just gonna kind of leave it at that. I really hope, like, if you read into it, which I wouldn't advise, but I'm going to do it anyway for fun, it doesn't sound guaranteed that the game releases this year, because if the game releases this year, maybe they would have said something like it's for sure coming out this year. Best guess for me is maybe now it comes out late 2021, and that's probably why they're not saying it's releasing this year, because it's a possibility to be delayed even further into 2022, and they don't want like another public delay to be known to people, right? So I mean, again, if you really want to read into it, which I don't, up to you, and I don't think it's necessarily awful to do that. That's something I think you can do. Now again, them responding and them also not saying, they say we'll show more about it this year, not answering. Now, he didn't ask if that on the 6th year anniversary we would get more information. He just said, "Can we at least get an update on it?" So before I saw this, before he said anything, to be honest with you, actually, to be very honest with you, my answer is probably still the same no matter what. When I first saw this post and I saw the 6th year anniversary, I mean, obviously, I hope and I want something to be announced Dying Light 2 related, but my answer, if you would ask me, Alex, do you think something would be announced that day? I would say no. Dying Light seems to me, now I don't follow it like religiously. I mean, I played Dying Light back in the day, but I haven't kept up with it over the last several years. Like I'm in Dying Light 2 mode, right? And I also talk about a lot of different things, but I don't know how they handle anniversaries in the past. That's something you guys will have to let me know in the comments if you've been part of the Dying Light community for the 6 years. Do they do something very special? Do they acknowledge something every year on that day? That's something you'd have to tell me. But if that answer is yes, then there is, I would say, moderate hope. Even the fact that they are saying in kind of a roadmap, and they're putting this as 1/3 of it and saying that there's more info, does mean that they do care about the anniversary. Now, the issue is, and I always tell people this, the problem is they're also still working on Dying. Like, they haven't stopped making Dying Light stuff, right? So they're still supporting that. So normally, if there's a game that's got an anniversary, but the game is definitely done, it's been done for a long time, you could look at it with optimism, and hoping that we could get something for like their next game on that day to kind of celebrate it. Or if it's a game, say, in a franchise, so say we're on like entry 2 out of a trilogy, and the second game came out years ago, but it's the anniversary, maybe do we get the smallest of things for the next game? Something like that. Now, even that, 95% of the time does not happen, okay? And we gotta be realistic with each other, right? I don't want to give people false hope or make people believe something. I mean, most times that doesn't happen, but sometimes it does. But the issue here is, it's not like the first game is gone. The first game is still active. In fact, the first 2 things is literally talking about supporting that game. And honestly, the 6th-year anniversary, I also think will probably be supporting that game. So that's the issue. I think that on the 6th-year anniversary, it's going to be solely towards the first game. But you know what? I mean, like, dang it. That's what I want to say. I'm stuttering with all this stuff. It's aggravating, but I also understand where they're coming from. I would like it. I would appreciate it. I think a lot of fans would appreciate it to give us something on that day. I mean, in reality, when you think about special days in this community, or even a special day for Techland, there's not many more than this. I mean, the anniversary of the game that you're still working on, that you're making the sequel of, that's literally in development. I don't even know where it is, right? I mean, this is the most important day you got if you are going to say something. Now, again, we've talked about it. Game Informers, IGN first, coming out on your own some random day and announcing something. Of course, it can be done in a variety of ways, and it probably will be done in a way that we're not really even expecting. That's probably even smaller, right? But it could happen on this day. So I would have said no before this guy asked and before they answered. And honestly, after they answer, it doesn't make me feel any more secure about it. It doesn't make me feel any more worse about it, honestly, because at least they're recognizing that the game is like living, okay? So actually, you could look at that as like a positive thing, but I don't really take anything. I'm like, my needle doesn't really move on what I think is going to happen on that anniversary date. I really don't think there's going to be anything. I would like there to be something. At least their tweet shows that stuff is still happening. They still will announce something this year, and hopefully that's the release date. I mean, in all reality, it's either a trailer and gameplay, a gameplay, and then all of those things combined with a release date. I mean, they got to get moving. I always try to say this so nobody takes my words and twist it. I've never demanded the game comes out tomorrow. I've never demanded that I need the game right now. But I think it is fair to be frustrated with the approach that they've taken and what's happening. And I mean, delays happen. It's not necessarily, like, we don't know whose fault it is or what happened. But I think it's okay to be frustrated. At the same time, it is still a situation, because I know there'll be people that are saying they'll give us the game when they're ready. No duh. That's what I've always thought. I mean, I've always said things like that. I mean, ultimately, they're going to give us the game when it's ready. I'm okay with waiting. At least we know the game is real. Now, we can get info. They can talk about it. They could show it. Those kind of things, it's reasonable to want to see those things. You know what I mean? It's also reasonable to want a game that was supposed to come out in the spring of 2019. I think that's reasonable. This game is a very unique example, okay? But again, not demanding, want to make that clear so nobody, with the comment just takes it the wrong direction. Let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Do you think this tweet is good news, bad news? Do you think they're going to do anything for the anniversary? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on so you know all these videos go up. Again, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, PodcastNow15 is my Twitter handle. Would love to have you guys over there. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.